Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the 45 match week 20 in the Premier League, the second half of the season for most clubs, some clubs starting right now. We will begin our look at 5 matches with the St. Mary's first. Southampton home to Arsenal in a 10 versus 11 matchup. Southampton's fading a little bit, two losses in a row, two draws, 2 losses. Just 1 win over the last 5. Arsenal improving 4 wins in their last 5. However, Southampton did just win the FA Cup match over Arsenal at the St. Mary's over the weekend. So a quick turn for both of these clubs. Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Southampton moving on to round 5. Southampton are in worse shape, I think, of these two teams right now. No Bertrand, no Walker-Peters. Redmond maybe in. Romeu likely out. Aubameyang, really the only question for Arsenal. He was out in the Saturday match for personal reasons, but otherwise they're healthy.
Yeah.
So Southampton, 29 points. Arsenal, just 27. But again, 7 points off the top 4. That's how close that top half of that table is. But I think both clubs need these 3 for any hopes for European football. You got to favor Arsenal here in the rematch?
The statement of 7 points off top 4 must scare Liverpool fans because you're in 4th place. They're 7 points off of you, and they were in 15th not too long ago. So they have been really good in their last couple of matches in the Premier League. 4 wins out of 5 in the league, which is just great considering where they were, and everyone was joking about relegation, all these different things. And you could also use them as a statement that, Liverpool will be fine because everyone goes through bad form. You feel like you can't score a goal, can't win a game, and things improve. Same thing with Southampton. They're in a bit of a lull themselves. They beat Liverpool in a pretty good performance. But it is going to be interesting because Mesut Ozil, his time at Arsenal officially over, moved on to Fenerbahce. Great move for everyone involved, I think. Arsenal, a nice farewell. Ozil going to go play some more. He has Turkish roots, and Fenerbahce have a huge fan base, so he's going to have a lot of supporters now. And so then they bring in Martin Odegaard on loan from Real Madrid because they're basically just – there's the academy from Madrid, there's Arsenal, and then there's Real Madrid because Ceballos and Odegaard now is the testing ground in the Premier League for them. So there's a lot of exciting times for Arsenal. I think they may be more inspired because of that loss in the FA Cup. And I think they would have been a bit upset because I think a cup run favors them better this year than a run in the league. So there may be a bit of motivation, may be a little annoyed, might come up and show up, but they come down to Aubameyang. He's been of increasing importance for them. If they have Aubameyang, I think I'd be confident if I was Arteta. Without him, I'm not sure how I feel.
Well, Arsenal, I was just looking at their last 5 here. They've only conceded 1 goal in the league in their last 5, and that was in the 3-1 win over Chelsea. Granted, the other 4 matches, the 1-0 shutout against Brighton, the 4-0 whitewashing of West Brom, the draw scoreless to Palace, and 3-0 over Newcastle. So they're not actually beating all that the better sides. They're getting the results, but they're getting clean sheets.
A few weeks ago, they weren't even beating these teams. So I think you take it where you can. You're getting clean sheets, which you were doing, and you're scoring some goals now. I think that's a result of Smith Rowe playing at number 10, maybe not at number 10, but some creativity. So I think we shouldn't dismiss that out of hand. Yes, we can say, we criticize Chelsea for weeks on end about their lack of big wins. So I guess it's fair to do that for Arsenal as well. But they beat Chelsea not too long ago, so bit of immunity.
Yeah, I think they'll bounce back and get the 3 here. They need it, and it's a good way for them to start second half. Next up, Newcastle and Leeds. Leeds 12th on 23 points, and they've had a week to prepare. They got knocked out of the FA Cup earlier, so they did not have to play at the weekend. Newcastle 16th on 19, 4 straight losses, 10 matches without a win across all competitions. Across those 10, 4 goals. 4. We've talked about this in the wrap-up of Week 19 and Steve Bruce or Frank Lampard. Who's going to get fired first? We got our answer this morning. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But if Bruce loses this, which is very likely to happen, playing a team like Leeds right now is a terrible position for Newcastle to be in. But he's likely to get the axe next, I have to think, even with the club claiming that he's going to be able to see out the season.
I don't know. That just screams to me, gonna back our guy until he's no longer here.
The dreaded vote of confidence.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a Newcastle fan if I read that with any optimism, with any happiness, because Steve Bruce is wasting his talent. Honestly, it has to be said. They have far too much talent to be winless in the last 10, as you mentioned, in 16th place. We said it last time we talked about Newcastle a few days ago. This is not a team where they should be. They should not be in this position. They're too good for this position as a club in their stature. And with the talent they have, it's not even a case of having a bad squad. Some people say they have a bad squad. They do not. They have made some good recruitment. Credit to Mike Ashley for actually making some decent moves in the window to try and improve this squad, because they actually did. I liked Wilson a lot. I liked Frazier a lot. I think those were good acquisitions, but it's just not being used properly. And I think if they fall to Leeds, it would be very justified sacking, and he'd follow very closely behind Lampard in that debate. For Leeds, though, I don't think this is as easy a match as you might say. They haven't scored in their last two after beating West Brom by 5. So they're very inconsistent. Talking about inconsistencies, they're the most inconsistent
They're a maddening
side.
team. They're a maddening team.
They are probably the most frustrating team to bet on, because you didn't know who was going to show up. So I would favor Leeds, but you never know. Maybe the pressure of the hot seat, the inconsistency of Leeds. In fact, this is the Premier League. I would definitely favor Leeds United, though.
Next up, Chelsea and Wolves. Lampard out, Thomas Tuchel in. So do you start Abraham here? He had the 3-goal hat trick in the FA Cup against Luton. Fired boss bounce here for Chelsea. You know, that's a classic thing that happens. Or is this a great opportunity for Wolves to pile on more misery at Stamford Bridge? Chelsea 9th on 29. Again, 5 points off the top 4. Only the 1 win in their last 5, 3 losses in that stretch. Wolves are worse in their last 5. Winless with 3 losses, leaving them 14th on 22. This is their worst first half performance of a year since their return to the Premier League. Last year they were 5th at this point. The year before they were 7th. So clearly something's going wrong. Can Nuno turn this around? Obviously they've had trouble scoring, right? With the losses that they've had, they need this 3 points to try to get themselves back into the top half. But 22 points right now for Wolves is not good comparatively.
No, definitely not. They're looking at strikers. I believe it was Willian Jose, maybe they're looking at. I'm not the Willian at Arsenal. Don't be too scared, Wolves fans. I believe that's what they're looking at. I may be wrong in that. But they definitely need some help up front, because Jimenez, indefinite injury. We don't know how bad, how long it's to take him to recover from the concussion. Skull fracture, actually, he suffered against Arsenal months ago, it feels like, at this point.
It was back in December, maybe November.
I mean, you mentioned it. They're not the greatest defensively. 29 conceded is just not. It's just slightly below average, and 21 scored is just painfully average to below average. So that's not a good combination, because they're not scoring in bunches either. They're not doing that where they can win games, and when they finally do against likes of West Brom, where you score 2, you conceded 3. So there are a lot of problems for Wolves right now, and I think this definitely has a lot of shaping up to be the bounce kind of issue or the positive that happens when a manager's fired, because players are wanting to prove themselves for the next boss, trying to motivate themselves a bit more, which that may question that, because why didn't you play that hard for Lampard, anything like that. But I think Chelsea need these points. The players, yes, Lampard's gone, but they want to play Champions League football. They want to get win bonuses. They want to win matches. They want to be in a race for silverware. And obviously they are 11 points off first, so you can't really entertain a title race discussion. But who knows with this season? There's been so much inconsistency that if one of those top 2 teams falters a little bit, you have a chance to try and maybe be talked about as a team that's up and coming. Top 4 at the very least is what you want to strive for. And if you can't win matches like these, that's going to be tough to ask to get top 4 when you can't beat Wolves, who haven't won in their last 5, can't score goals, and can't really defend either.
Yeah, they've conceded 29. I mean, you mentioned it. That's a terrible defensive record right now for Wolves. And this is not how Nuno plays, right? It's amazing how dependent they had become on Jimenez to score, or at least to give opportunities for other folks to score. I mean, it's been the change has been dramatic. Hopefully they can get that strike side. This is like a 1-1 draw. I don't know that there's going to be a decisive team in this. It doesn't feel great. Everton, Leicester. 2 of the more informed sides get together at Goodison Park. The hosts 6th on 32 points, 2 matches in hand, 6 points behind Leicester, who are 3rd in the table, having played all 19 thus far. Just one loss between them across their last 5. That the 1-0 loss Everton suffered to West Ham. No Vardy for Leicester, but Maddison has been spectacular. Not in a replacement capacity. He's just been very, very good, right? Everton beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 in the FA Cup. Leicester beat Brentford 3-1 in the FA Cup. Everton last played in the league on January 12th. So the FA Cup, an opportunity for them to knock off a little bit of rust. It felt like they hadn't played in forever. I was doing prep on this. I'm like, when the hell was the last time they played? It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be able to not play and then have 2 matches in quick succession. They got enough to take out a very, very confident and comfortable Leicester side. I'm not sure.
I don't really know how to assess this match. I think just have draw all over it because it's 2 sides who are still finding their feet. They're both young sides, at least Everton in terms of their building under their manager, together. Their playing style, while Leicester are literally very young. So it's tough to make predictions on that. I think it's going to be a good game. Everton are a very exciting team to watch, especially when they have a equal opposition. They usually have open games. They're pretty fun to watch. So it's going to be a good one. I'm just interested if Leicester can actually mount a serious top 4 race, because last year they should have finished top 4. There's no question about it, but they bottled it.
Yeah,
Simple as that. It's total collapse. After the fans were no longer in the stands. And so they will want to improve from last season. And this is the kind of match you need to win, because Everton, if they win this match, they're only 3 behind with 2 games in hand. And you definitely think if you're Everton, they are a team I'm going to pass. And, I mean, Everton are easily within touching distance of their rivals, Liverpool. That's a very untalked about storyline, that they are 2 points behind them with 2 games in hand. And it'd be very typical of Everton to blow that and not actually capitalize on it. But the opportunity exists for Everton. Seize it. Take advantage of it. The same goes for Leicester. It's these kinds of matches that are so important at the end of the season. These 6-pointers against teams that are going to be in and around you. I don't know who to favor. I think I'm going to say draw, but it's going to be a good one, I think.
Last up for us, Spurs and Liverpool. Ordinarily, you would say this is the match of the weekend, but Liverpool finally scored in 2021. The 3-2 loss to United in the FA Cup. They sit 4th, 1 point ahead of Spurs, who have the game in hand. Liverpool have yet to record a win in 2021, while Spurs have won 2 of 3 so far this January. Right now, the Spurs side are clearly in better form. Regardless of how you feel about Mourinho's side, they have the right players playing in the right position and playing a very disciplined form of football, and they're able to score because they've got that speed and they're exceptional on the break. Liverpool continue to have too many players playing out of position, specifically their midfielders playing in the heart of defense, which we talk about a lot. That has weakened their midfield, which ultimately weakens the front 3 because nobody's really playing with conviction in the position that they're in because they're all suffering from slightly being not in the right spot. So this is where the Liverpool side is exceptionally frustrating, right? They need a center back if they want a challenge for the top 4, never mind a title. And they deserve a shot to defend, right? But it remains wide open, but other teams are much better positioned than Liverpool right now, none other than Spurs, right? They've been up and down, but I think they understand what Mourinho's trying to do, and they're doing a very, very good job of it.
Liverpool could find themselves in 7th place at the end of the weekend if they aren't careful, because you have Everton, Leicester City. Everton could very easily win that. You have West Ham, Crystal Palace. West Ham could very easily win that. And then you have yourselves playing Spurs, who if they beat you, they pass you. If you find yourself in 7th place, it's bad. It's very, very bad. It's very tough to gauge how bad the problems are, how deep lying they are, because they have one fit center back in defense to them, and that's Matip. And calling him fit is a very loose interpretation of the word fit, because they had to start Reece Williams, a center back, who he's had a lot of abuse. He's had a lot of support on social media because there are I would say more not more extremist fans, but the ones who are less sympathetic. They want to be playing like champions, and champions should not have to rely on Reece Williams. And so in that regard, he's been tossed into the deep end because they did not spend money. It's not his fault, honestly. He's not developed enough. And fundamentally, you can't blame the kid for that. He's just, whenever you see him play, he's not that fast. And his positional sense is okay. His ability in the air is okay. His ability on the ball is okay. He's just okay, and that's not good enough for the champions.
You have to have a really strong partner with him if you're going to play him. And they...
Yes, Fabinho's great, but he is a better defensive mid. So not only are you wasting one of your best midfielders in the defense, you are also playing a worse center back. And when it's Matip there, it's like it's okay, but it's not great either. Henderson missed the game on Sunday due to precaution. They're going to hope he's back for this one against Spurs. This is a must.
Is that a COVID precaution or was it injury? Just kind of
groin.
resting?
I think it was a groin pull, tear. I don't know what the technical term was for it.
Not a tear, hopefully. That's no good.
Yeah, I think it's not long term is the fundamental point. For Spurs, they will be very motivated to recover from the last time they played Liverpool at Anfield, where they were in it in the sense that they had very similar expected goals. They were bombarded, but they also had a lot of chances over the top. Where Bergwijn, he finishes 1 or 2, you win that game at Anfield, and you end the streak, not Burnley, which maybe would have been a bit better for Liverpool fans to lose it to Spurs, not Burnley, if you're ever going to lose it.
I just think getting that streak out of the way, it's meaningless, right? Just play football. Home streaks, there's nobody there. It doesn't matter.
I think back to this exact result, this exact fixture I don't think it was White Hart Lane, or I think it was White Hart Lane then. 4-1, Spurs won against Klopp, and I remember the motivation, the bounce back they had after that. I wonder if the Burnley result is going to have a similar effect for Liverpool, or if they need one more kick up the pants to learn that, okay, we are really underperforming. We either need recruitment in the window, we need to bite the bullet in the terms of the finances, to bring in a lone player, bring in a fix at center back, or what? Because I truly don't know how deep lying these issues are for Liverpool, because if you remove Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez from your team for the entire season, that's always going to impact you, and it is especially hurting them right now because every time a team goes forward, they feel like they can score, and that kind of mentality is very rare against this Liverpool side. So they need to step things up, and they need these kinds of results again. And if they lose this game, I think title's over at this point. It's top 4 race. Fans are already saying it's a top 4 race right now, and that's after this kind of loss, it would be even worse. So this is as important a result as I've had in a long, long time, and I'm not sure. I'm very confident in their ability to do it. I think Spurs might knock them off.
Yeah, Spurs 2-1, I think. I think Liverpool are playing. Granted, yeah, they got the 2 against United. They're not playing with any kind of confidence. Exactly, yeah. And they're with that speed that Spurs have on the break, Liverpool can't deal with it.
If you have Matip, if you have Henderson, and if you have Trent Alexander-Arnold playing at a 10% of his previous best as opposed to like 3%, maybe you have a chance. I don't feel confident though.
No, I would not. If I'm a Liverpool fan, no, not at all. Spurs, I think 2-1, take this one. That'll do it for us for week 20. Jack, Conrad, this has been the 45. Please do let us know what you think in the comments. Also, please subscribe, please like, please look for us on the Twitter at the 45. Take care now.